And honestly, I would have gladly been a fly on the wall in that movie. Because when you're an actor in India, you're not just an actor. You're actually acting maybe 10% of the time.
Hi everyone, this is Manjusha Radhakrishnan. I'm the entertainment editor for Gulf News. You must know Ishan by now because he's a part of the Rupee 1 billion club because he stars in Marco. It's a Malayalam language thriller which stars Unni Mukundan, and he plays Victor. He plays his stepbrother in it who gets killed in the first few scenes. But it's a massive, massive beginning for you, isn't it, Ishan? And he's a Dubai boy. And thank you so much for coming to our studios to do this interview, Ishan.
Thank you so much for having me. And I should start by saying you are the first journalist that I'm meeting twice for an interview. So that's a pretty big deal for me. Thank you.
I am so happy that you keep coming back to me.
Always.
Keep doing that.
Hopefully more.
Yes,
you'll call me
hopefully more.
again.
I mean, let's start with Marco. It's a huge, huge hit. Today, I just did an interview where I said it has entered the Rupee 1 billion club,
Yes.
which must feel amazing, right?
It's honestly surreal because when we started out, there was a certain level of expectation and there was a certain level of talk going on within the industry, even while we were shooting this. But usually when there's a certain level of expectation, things don't always match up to what you expect. And the Malayali audience, they're very critical of how good a movie is or how it is. And they're very blatant, they're very honest, as it should be. So with that level of expectation comes a little pressure. But seeing how it is doing now, we're super, super happy with how things have turned out.
Excellent. And you play Victor in it, visually differently abled, visually impaired. How did it go? Like, how did you get this role? Because you sit in Dubai, I'm assuming, because you studied in DPS in Dubai. How did you get this Malayalam role?
So I did my schooling here, as you mentioned, but for the last 3-4 years, I've moved my base to Kochi. So our previous interview, we met for a short film called Deadline, right?
Yes.
So, which did its round in the film festival and all. And it was honestly through that and the recognition that film got that they came and approached me to meet the director and the producer. And they're the ones who actually supported me throughout this. And it wasn't even a screen test or an audition. It was more like we just had a conversation about life and about our experiences with movies. And by then, it was just a casual 20-minute conversation. And they're like, okay, cool, next week you're doing this character named Victor, and this is the story. And that's really how it happened. It was all really, really quick and
Right.
last minute, but in a good way, didn't give me enough time to think and take on that pressure, because before I could, the movie had started and we were rolling. So
Right.
that's ultimately how I got the role, yeah.
Oh, great. I was talking to Unni Mukundan in an interview where this was just before it had got great reviews. The movie is doing very well and it was releasing in Hindi. So he was here in Dubai and he said how he has made it in this Malayalam film industry through trial and error.
Yeah.
He had no godfathers. He had no uncles to boost his career.
Yeah.
Do you also feel that you and Unni Mukundam have a lot in common? That you don't have that, I don't know, do you belong to an acting family?
I
or-
don't. I don't belong to anyone who's actually worked in films. My father has been in the artistic side of things, where he was a cameraman, DOP growing up in India. And he had a studio over there, but that was nothing to do with films. It was more to do with editing, and just he would always be the first one to bring the new software to Kochi. So a lot of the times back then, when there were no studios, a lot of people used to come to him to use his software and things like that. But consciously, he stayed away from the film industry because that was never his goal at the end of the day.
Right.
But as you mentioned, another commonality I have with Unni Charan is that we both grew up outside Kerala. He grew up in
Yes.
Gujarat.
Because I'm Dubai, yeah.
Yeah.
And you grew up in Dubai.
In Dubai, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was almost like when I first moved back, there was a little bit of feeling like an outsider. More than anything, it was just adjusting to cultures because it's so different, right? But at the same time, you know that Dubai has a very strong Malayali community, right? Even my parents were always speaking in Malayalam. Like our household is all very much Malayali. So that little bit of a change was there. But once you settle in, then it's all good, yeah.
No. What I like, Ishan, about that movie was how violent it was. This is hyper-violent movie, maximalist violence at its best. We are talking about little children, newborn kids being held up against a bowl of acid, etc. That kind, and hands and limbs being chopped off.
Yeah.
When you were watching it, are you into such movies, or were you also a bit will Malayalam viewers be okay with this degree of violence?
Like you mentioned earlier, a lot of it is trial and error. There's no guarantee with anything in the film industry. It's one of the riskiest businesses. But at the end of the day, it was our producer, Sharif Mohammed from Cubes International Group, also based out of Dubai, by the way. And it's his bravery, I would say. That
Is he the producer or director?
he's a producer.
He's a producer.
Yeah,
So
so
there's
he
a
was
Dubai-based producer. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. And he's a very smart businessman. So
I
I think he
see.
took that same business model and used it in the films, which maybe always doesn't work, but it worked for this movie because I think he's very calculated and he knows his target audience. That was the main thing.
Right.
Because he knew from the beginning this is not a movie for children and like basically people
Yeah, it
above
has
the
an
age of
adult
18.
certificate
Yeah, it's 18
anyway.
plus at the
Yeah.
end of the day. So since day one, we've been marketing it as the most violent movie, the most violent movie. That has been the tagline used in every single poster. So at the end of the day, after marketing like that, if we don't show that level of violence, it's actually probably going to disappoint the audience. And as a audience, when I watched the movie, the first show, first day in Kochi, so I have only seen the scenes that I'm in, right? So I was also taken aback by some of the violence, but not in a negative way at all. I was also just taking it all in as an audience, like, wow, we have gone this far. And a lot of it is the reason why it's working. You know, people are there for it. So I guess maybe if we do the same thing again, it may not work. But that the fact that it was the first time to do something like that was pretty big. So
Right.
I'm very happy with how.
Right. I know when people enter the Malayalam film industry, there's always a talk of you're among like thousands and thousands of hopefuls who come into
Yeah.
the Malayalam film industry or Bollywood to make it big,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of exploitation as well. How do you? I know you come from a very protected, you have a great privileged background out here. But when you're out there, you're on your own. How did you ward off the, perhaps unsavory requests like casting couch, etc.?
I generally think I'm still figuring it out. I don't feel like I've known anything or like learned every single thing and I'm ready for the world. I think it's very much step by step. And fortunately, till now, I've not had any terrible experiences or anything like that. And I've worked with good production houses who's taken care of all these things. This is my third movie that I'm currently doing. Marco's my first movie. I'm
Yes.
currently shooting my third movie.
Oh wow, you're on a roll.
Yeah, luckily, touch wood.
That's it.
But fortunately, it's all been with good people, good filmmakers, so it's been good so far. But I can't say that's the same experience that everyone has had. But from my perspective, so far so good. Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
His next movie, if I'm right, is with Mammootty, Fahad Fazil, Kunjaku Boban, and a whole
Mohanlal sir.
and Mohanlal sir. Yes, there you go. I thought I left out Mohanlal sir. Of course, these are A-listers, and
Yeah.
you are in a movie as well. That's huge.
It is, and honestly, I would have gladly been a fly on the wall in that movie and like just been there to just take it all in, because we're talking about years and years of experience, veterans in the game, not just stars in their own rights, but brilliant artists, brilliant actors, and just being around them and taking it all in. That's really, and acting at the end of the day is a bonus on that set. Like
Yes.
just getting to be in one frame in that movie is really a bonus. And it's not like in my career graph, I'm not looking to be the lead man or anything anytime soon. I know that it's the long game. We're playing the long game as an actor, right? I want to act for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So it's not. So being a part of a project like this, it's only going to help me as an actor growing up. So,
No, I love that. But so when you were observing actors like say Unni Mugundan or Mohanlal Mammootty, these are seasoned actors.
Yeah.
Jaco Boban.
yeah.
And he's on, and Fahad Fazil. These are names that you look, it's a masterclass in acting in
Yeah.
itself. Do you look at them and do you feel, oh my God, I have a long way to go? Or does it empower you knowing that, listen, I'm in their company, I'm doing something right?
Yeah. It's probably the latter. But at the same time, I know that they have gotten to where they are with years and years of work, right? Their trial and error, their failures, which has probably led to where they are right now. So it's more of trying to not be too calculated with my decisions. Like it's okay to make mistakes, only then will I ever grow. So allowing myself to make mistakes is something I'm still figuring out right now, and seeing them, it's empowering me more in that
Right.
sense, because they're the ones telling me like, you started off well, but it's not always going to be like this. And that's something I'm coming to terms with more. And hopefully not soon, but one day there will be.
You're doing very well. What is a life hack that you think Mohanlal Mammootty or Fahad Fazil told you
Well,
to just survive as an actor?
honestly, it's that keeping the main thing. As long as you take care of acting and keeping that as the goal. Because when you're an actor in India, you're not just an actor. You're actually acting maybe 10% of the time. The other time is waiting for work or doing all these other kind of press or events and all of that. But a lot of the times that can take away from the acting as well. So like Dhoni said, if you take care of cricket will take care of you. Keep the main thing, and then the rest will take care of itself. So
It's so interesting you're saying this. Pooja Bhatt had a masterclass in acting, and she said, I'm not going to teach my students, the ones who turn up, about acting per se, how to act. It's about what do you do with your time
yeah,
when you're waiting for that call from that audition. That waiting period is debilitating, right? It's also like you start to question your worth.
yeah.
Is it like that for the phone to ring, like for actors, the insecurity? Will I get the job? Is that a real thing?
It's honestly terrifying, and it's I can only credit all of this to the people I'm surrounded by, my family who supported me so much, that there's really no pressure from them, that they are not calling me every day saying, why are you not doing this on a daily basis. They also understand that it takes time, and it is a long game. Today I've done these movies, but I didn't do anything for the last 3-4 years.
You were waiting for this.
Right, yeah.
So Marco came after 3 years, your first feature film.
My first feature film, and when there was no option, as in like I don't know where to go for work, that's when my brother and I made the short film that we met you earlier for. And that's
I'm
the
so
thing,
happy,
when you have...
but when I saw the movie, I was like, you look familiar, but I couldn't place you honestly. But it's not easy, right? The recall value of an actor, you have to be in your face for us to remember you. That must be scary.
And it takes a lot of mental strength and patience to like tell yourself that even if you're not doing anything on a certain day, you can still try to be productive in one way or another, because you're not acting every day. That is something I've come to terms with, and I'm okay with that, because I know that days that I'm not acting, it's probably helping me somewhere subconsciously to be a better actor, as long as I'm consciously doing something about it.
Yeah.
As long as you're not sitting at home and just being on the couch and just watching TV shows, like
that sounds fun too.
That sounds fun too, and I love that. Don't get me wrong.
You have to earn your keep.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, growing up and seeing how my parents have built what they built, I can see the hard work that it took, and I have to soak that all in and do my version of that.
Right.
So again, speaking, I'm only 25 years old right now, and I know there's a long way to go, but still trying to use everything I've seen growing up.
Right. I wanted to ask you have a formal training in acting. Did the degree help you?
Absolutely, yeah. So I did theatre for 4 years in the US, and it gave me all the confidence that I needed, because I didn't go there wanting to do theatre. I went there as a finance student who ended up doing finance and theatre. So when you go for theatre in the US, everyone has grown up singing, dancing, acting since the age of -1 or something like that, right? So first day is the most intimidating day ever, like where you're just seeing and you really start questioning, like, okay, I am the least talented person in this room. But I always feel like when you work with people better than you, you only get better. So by my 4th year, I felt as confident as the rest of them. I felt as talented. I felt as deserving as the rest of them. So coming to Kochi and starting to act, I knew that I had done the work.
Yes.
And I'm still doing the work, but I knew I had done as much as I could in these 4 years to develop my craft, to get better at my own skills. And that really helped me a lot, yeah, confidence-wise.
Confidence-wise, just thing. When you're feeling, there's a lot of social media hate, right now. Like even with one word review, people can slate a movie. And that must be, to be an actor in today's time, where there's withdrawal all around you on social media, how does it get, like, how are you gearing up mentally? Like Ajit in an interview said, that's the one thing we have. Why is nobody addressing hate on social media?
Yeah.
Like it's like people unbridled, they just go all out, right? Do you worry about that as well? Like
I do worry about it, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to be as oblivious to it as I can, because I've seen, luckily, as of in my short career till now, I've not gotten any kind of hate like that yet, but I've seen my friends and my co-actors get some sort of criticism, and it's not always constructive, right? A lot of the times it's personal, especially for women. So I'm trying to learn from their experiences, trying to see what I can do, and most of the time the only solution really is to switch it off for yourself. Like you have to consciously try to not read it, because you're not going to change millions of opinions of people sitting on their couches typing away, and most of the time they don't even know you, they haven't watched your movie, they're just there to hate for whatever reason.
Right.
So you have to consciously almost take a decision to switch that side of it off and understand that there are a lot of people that love you as well.
Right.
It's just that they're not typing all the time, I love you, as much as the haters are probably.
Haters are very invested.
They're very invested and they're very on top of their game as well.
Right, of course. When you are in Kochi, do they treat you like a Dubai kid? Like there's always a thing they're saying, oh my God, like I have 3 kids and all of them are so protected.
Yeah.
I'm like, how will they survive in a college in Kerala, for instance? I dread to think because they're not hustlers. By here, I feel it's a very protected environment.
Absolutely, no.
Then you go there. How did you manage? Like, to all the Dubai kids, do you have like life hacks you can tell us on how to survive?
Honestly, in a very positive way, Dubai spoils you as much as you can possibly get spoiled, right? You live in a like great city, great roads,
Great safety.
great places to work. Safety is huge.
Yeah.
And when I go there, honestly, when I first shifted, one of the main things people told me was don't change everything about yourself to try to fit in, because you've had your own life experiences for better or worse, and take that with you. Like you've gotten educated here, use that to your advantage. So that's what I'm really trying to do. Where everything I've learned here, all the positive things and the negative things, I'm trying to mold a version of myself where it's a bit of both, where it's my new life in Kochi as well as all the things that I've grown up doing, and not trying to act like Dubai never existed in my life. Because sometimes that can also, people might think you're spoiled and might think you're privileged, but as long as you're not flaunting that privilege and trying to one up another, saying, oh, I grew up here or I grew up there, that's the main thing really where they get annoyed.
Yeah. And you're also very careful, I think, right? Where when you're the newbie on a set, I think you're only like soaking in as much as you can, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You're like the intern. Is that how it works with you? Like
It is, yeah.
you're eager to please, you want to impress.
Yeah.
You feel this is it for me.
Yeah,
I
so
need to-
most of the sets I've been on, I've been the youngest on the set, right? So I'm always treated like a kid in a good way. They're always trying to teach me, and I'm just trying to soak everything in. So before I started acting, I actually worked as an assistant director for a movie with Roshan and Rusa.
Lovely.
So
Which one?
Saturday Night. It released in 2022, I believe.
I see.
And that was really my acting school. And when they say in Malayalam films, if you can work as an AD, you can do anything.
I know, AD is the worst. They're the least respected, I believe,
Least
and
respected,
also overworked.
Overworked, underpaid,
Underpaid.
and probably get the least amount of credit as well.
Yes.
So I have so much respect for all the ADs now, and I always try to give them as much credit as I can.
Yes.
But that was my acting school, and that's when I really got to learn the game. And so eventually, when I faced the cameras, I wasn't as intimidated as maybe a newcomer would have.
So being an AD really helped.
Really
When did
helped.
you move to Cochin now to pursue acting full time?
Yeah, 2021. So it's now.
After 21. so
Yeah, I
in-
graduated in 21, and as soon as I graduated, I came.
So in 3 years, you managed to bag 3 projects. That's impressive.
Honestly, the 3 projects was in 2024 alone. So that was a pretty big deal for me. Last year has been, honestly, I can't believe the year, and I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so humbled and just very, very happy. I'm trying to not overthink about it, but because I know every year may not be like this, but just very, very.
No, I know. I was talking to Taha Shah, who told me that it took me years before a Hira Mandi happened.
Yeah.
Only then was he even put on the map. Till then, he was a Dubai boy, a steel trader before. He was like impossible to, it wasn't easy, right? I mean, you are constantly aware of that as well, that to be in the cinema, it's not easy, like to be a part of people's consciousness, like pop cultural thing. It's not easy, right?
It's not easy, and almost everyone's trying to be in the film industry, right? And not everyone has the same arc, not everyone has the same journey. A lot of people only start clicking maybe in their 10th film, their 15th film. I am so lucky that my first movie was Marco and reached the 100 crore club. as
Love.
I mentioned before, and I'm very, very aware of that. But also, I feel like the harder you work, the luckier you get. So I
Right.
feel like a lot of the work that I've put in already is now paying off.
Finally.
And that's what it is, yeah. As long as you keep striving, you're going to see a lot of failures. You're gonna feel very demotivated 99% of the time. But it's years like 2024 for me where that 1% feels so good.
Yeah,
And it reminds
kind
me
of
of why
makes
I
up for
started.
the
Yeah,
lost time
absolutely does,
in
Yeah, it reminds you of why you started, right? That's the main thing. Anytime I try to feel low, I just try to remember why I started. Going back to my family, like they've only been so supportive, like,
lovely.
and that's not always the case for a lot of actors. A lot of people. One of the questions I get asked the most is acting your full-time job? Like, what else are you doing? And I try to not get offended, but I completely understand where they're coming
Yeah,
from,
where do you
because
get the money?
when you get the money and
it's
where
expensive to be an
exactly it is, and it's not like you're always acting, like I mentioned earlier, right? So a lot of people are doing other things as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I really feel like half of India is trying to act. So if I'm not fully invested in acting, if I'm not giving all of my time into this, then I feel like I'm missing out somewhere. Like somebody else is going to try to take my place.
Okay.
So that pressure is always there in my head.
The FOMO is there.
The FOMO
You're like,
is there.
oh my
yeah,
God,
yeah,
FOMO is
yeah,
real, huh?
Yeah. So any other thing I
That's
try
so interesting that you say that. So you're
Yeah.
full time, like you are like, I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Did you see Marco with your friends? I know you're going for Coldplay right now.
Yeah.
In a bit, but you need to tell me, like, did you watch it? What were the reactions
So
like?
I watched Marco with my family. It was in Kochi. Most of my friends watched it here in Dubai. But I watched it with my family, and a lot of them are not really moviegoers. My core family are, the 5 of us are, but the rest of them are not really like watching movies all the time. So I brought a lot of them. There was like 20 of us over there, and all of them were shocked in more ways than one, because they were really there just to see me.
Yes,
But
they stayed
I
on.
have to really tell them, okay, listen, I know you don't watch movies, and this is not even a regular movie. This is a little violent movie, and I have to,
Not
really,
little, Annie, it's
yeah,
violent.
It's very violent, and I have
Yes.
to preface them. I have to like really tell them and make them understand. But at the end of the day, they were just more proud than anything.
Okay.
And since it was the first day, first show, there was a lot of media members, there was a lot of fans, a lot of regular moviegoers as well, and we're all getting live reactions, right? This is when we know the fate of a movie technically, because no one knows anything before that. I've only seen my scenes where I've dubbed for, so even I'm seeing a lot of it for the first time. And as soon as we walked out, there was a lot of like journalists, media asking the moviegoers how the movie was, and hearing their responses when I'm getting the review for the first time. And it was all very overwhelming. Since then, it was
That's
just, it was all good.
Listen, I had to ask you this while I was watching the movie. I had one question. Why are you all in three-piece suits in a tropical place like Kerala? I can't even get one layer in without sweating. That's one question I have to
Yeah,
ask.
yeah.
How uncomfortable was it to suit up?
Luckily, I didn't have any suiting up to do. But the thing is, the art director.
Jagadish
Yeah.
in a suit
Yeah,
was
yeah.
amazing. And his
And how
English
many
diction
years?
was perfect, by the way. He's a
How many-
professor, right?
Yes, he is. And
Yeah.
how many? He must have done, I don't know, don't quote me on this, must have done 400, 500, 600
Yes,
films.
yeah. Let's say hundreds of
Yeah,
movies.
like hundreds of movies. And our director Hanif sir, made a very conscious decision that we always see very rooted, very culturally driven movies in Malayalam, where we not be like city urban stories. And we love those movies, and that's what has made our industry. But this movie, we are going to stay away from that. We are going to be ambitiously stylistic. We are going to be driving in only Range Rover Defenders. We are only going to wear suits. Every frame is going to be the most beautiful frame.
He has a cigar dangling from his mouth.
There's not a
That's the actor.
scene without smoke.
There is, yeah.
I
There's a
think they told
cigar
me-
dangling. There's an axe on his hand. I'm like, and he's in a suit. It's an audacious
Unabashedly,
movie.
yeah,
It's an
unabashedly
audacious
stylish.
Malayalam
Yeah,
movie,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Which is a lot of the reason why it worked, because we were very much not shying away from it. We are like, this is what the movie is, and this is the theme of the movie. So come and watch it, and if you like it, that's great.
I love it.
And
I love it.
glad people are liking it.
No, I love the fact that a Dubai boy is a part of a Malayalam blockbuster that's making waves in the Hindi territory as well. In fact, he was telling me they started off with 30 shows and then it increased to some 3,000 or 30,000. Don't quote me on this, but yeah, to like suddenly amplified the number of screens
It's
because Hindi territory loved the Malayalam movie.
Hindi, Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, all the languages are doing well, but Hindi particularly.
Particularly, it's taken off.
There were other movies that released after Marco where their screens were reduced, and Marco's screens had gone up because of that. And that's when we really see the scale of, the movement that it's making. And we've seen that in other industries. We've seen that in Telugu a lot with the Bahubalis and
Yes,
RRRs. We've
it
seen
took
that in the
off.
KGFs. But in Malayalam, we've not seen it do so well in Hindi as well, like that, like a dubbed version of a
Yes.
movie. So it's really like, we're just very proud. We're genuinely very proud. And all of us, like Team Marco, all of us from the.
It's so sad you die in this movie. I mean, I'm sure everybody has seen the movie.
Yeah.
So for the second part, does he have a twin brother? Does Victor have a twin?
Honestly, I wish he does, just so I can be a part of it.
Identical twin.
I'm gonna
Put
ask
the thing out there. Put the idea out there.
Please put a twin or put some flashback or something out there, because I will have the FOMO of my life if I'm not in
Yes,
Marco
and
too.
Unni Mukundan in an interview said there will be Marco 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was like, yeah, till it go. It's like Grey's Anatomy.
And it's
till
not just
season
me.
22.
I mean, I guess now everyone has seen the movie. We can say that 90% of the cast is not there anymore. Like there are
Who's left?
my child in the movie is left. I think
Yes.
Marco's left, and I think Siddiq sir is also.
Okay,
is also
so
there. Besides that,
these are the last men
this
standing.
is the last one standing. So hopefully
No.
one way or another we can get the
Excellent.
cast back together. That
But
would-
Ishan, well done on actually making ripples in Kerala cinema. It's not an easy ride, but you've done it with a blockbuster and then with a Mohanlal movie. It can't get better than that.
No, it's honestly, it's taking everything day by day, and just very happy with how things are going out. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy. And congratulations on your blockbuster. And I really want to see you for every interview we do. We start.